You're listening to the Law of Attraction Radio Network.
Are you tired of the I can't mindset? The I'm not good enough mindset? Do you feel like your negative thoughts control your life? Well, you came to the right place, because in the next 30 minutes, you will learn how to break free from the limiting mindset of anxiety, fear, victimization, depression, trauma, and self-hatred by reprogramming your subconscious mind. It's time to master your mind with Dr. Erika.
Hello, good people, and welcome to Master Your Mind with Dr. Erika. Thank you so much for joining me today. Let me see. Okay, today is a good day. I just want to make sure you could hear me. I just want everyone to take a deep breath and release it. And just release all of the stress, all of the attention, anything that is weighing you down and making you feel heavy, just release it. Let's take one more deep breath in and release it through the mouth. Yeah, let it go. Well, thank you for joining me today. I tell you, I've been doing this now for 2 years. I cannot believe it. And I host a weekly show that's 30 minutes in length. And I keep coming back for part 2, part 3, part 4, because I love the people that I meet. It is such a blessing. And I hope that it's blessing you out there. To all of my listeners, I love when you email me and you let me know that I'm inspiring you, because that's really what I'm here to do. As a psychologist, I've been practicing mental health for 23 years. And what I know is that we are all worthy and deserving of unconditional love. We are all worthy and deserving of living the life that we choose to live. And that's really what I'm about, bringing this energy to you, this information, this expertise to you, and skills, practical, simple steps, so that you can begin to transform your life, because you have everything you need within you. You are complete, you are whole, and you were wired for love. And so my special guest today, Juan Lee, we are going to have a great time, because he is all about love. I am hosting a coaching special. I really, just want to make it accessible and available to everyone. So even though I'm a therapist, I also do coaching. Whatever you might be dealing with, anxiety, depression, trauma, stress, self-esteem, whatever you might be dealing with, I can help. I am here to support you on your journey of emotional and mental wellness. You all know I'm advocates of CBD. I have a micro dispensary online, Hemp Happier. I take CBD daily. As a matter of fact, I took it 15 minutes before I jumped on this talk. Why? Because it makes me feel calm and focused. It is a full body, because every human walking has an endocannabinoid system. And we know that there are receptor sites in every organ of our body that takes in CBD. And that endocannabinoid system is responsible for creating that balance, that homeostasis. And so it makes me feel good. And I know it'll make you feel good too. Check out my website. It's Healthy Minds, MINDS.expert, to learn more about me, my coaching, CBD, and my articles that I write monthly. Check it out. So without further ado, I am going to introduce my special guest, Mr. Juan Lee. He is an author and teacher on the powerful principle of love. That's powerful, y'all. I always say that is the greatest medicine that will cure anything. For over 30 years, he has studied organized religion to find the elements that unite humanity and share the message with those who need it. Juan has turned to teachings about love over the years to find strength, understanding, and hope. Juan Lee has seen the message of love made so difficult that it's confusing. He removes the confusion by making it very simple. He neutralizes religions and makes the message of love universal. He finds the things that people have in common instead of looking for the things that divide. Love made simple, a guide to inner peace, Contentment and Success is your essential manual for aligning your abilities to gain clarity of mind and soul. And if you like overcoming fear with practical tools and pursuing self-improvement, then you'll adore Juan Lee's liberating book, Love Made Simple. I love it. Thank you so much. Welcome, Juan Lee.
Thank you. I appreciate you for having me. Thank you for having me.
So I just really want to start with, I mean, it sounds like you've been on your own journey, and maybe you can give us a brief kind of synopsis of how you arrived at love.
Well, that's a long story, but I'll give you the abbreviated version of it. Actually, it stems from my journey through and involved with religion. And it basically started very young in my life. I've been in church all my life. And it basically, I got to the point where I saw that there was no action involved in the hope and the promise around religion. And I began to wonder what it was all about, in the sense as it relates to, I couldn't see the action. It was like I saw the hope, but was no action. Nothing was in it so that I could engage it to the point where it would allow me to see the benefits in life, see what life, this experience that we were living was all about. And so the long story short is that I graduated from high school feeling extremely lost, without any hope. I had low self-esteem. I had no confidence. I had an undiagnosed learning disability. And I did not know where I was going to go, how I was going to make it. I joined the Air Force, and those things that I had heard about I began to see them in the military, in the area of understanding what it takes to love. Because in the military, we came together as a group with one mission in mind, but we had to have the right attitude to be able to fulfill that mission. And that was when I began to find my identity and understand my value to something that was bigger than myself. And it wasn't until I could begin to see value in myself that I could see my potential. I could see what it was I had to offer. And it began to be very clear that love was the system that I was to use that would allow me to find out who and what I had to offer in this experience called life. And it was through that experience, being in the military, that I found myself gaining confidence, beginning to find who I was and what I had to offer. And so my journey over 30 years was being able to understand that the military and life in itself is a lot like, because in life, we are a part of something greater than just ourselves. It's called humanity. Humanity is what we are a part of, and love is the system that moves humanity from generation to generation. It's the system that once we plug into, we understand that we need one another, that we are sufficient, that we are important, and what we have is necessary. And that was what gave me the confidence to know that, I have something that everybody else needs, and it's not to be compared with anybody. I am important. I realized that what I have to offer is so important that I have to realize that it's not about what I don't have, this life experience. It's about how I use what I do have. And I was 37 years old when I got diagnosed with learning disability. And by that time, I had been in the military for 9 years, gotten out, gotten another job at the time I was working as a product manager, as the manufacturing, gotten married. And I had figured out something that I didn't understand enough to function. But the fact of the matter is that this ghost was still out there trying to hold me down. And when I got the diagnosis, it allowed for the clarity to come. And then I could actually, that ghost, so to speak, could drop off. But the fact is that I had understood that it was about what I had to offer, what I could do, and it wasn't compared to anyone else. And so that's how I understood the value of being a part of something bigger than myself, understanding that, hey, if I need help, I need to ask for help. I need to engage people because they have what I need and I have what they need. We are part of a bigger system. And once I realized that, oh man, the doors were open and things came. I mean, all I had to do is initiate it, be engaging, be willing to say, hey, I need help. I need help.
How did you come to that understanding? How did you come to that realization? Because I think so many of us feel unworthy. So many of us feel like we lack. And so when you talk about that ghost, it's like, yeah, that ghost could be the fear, could be the anxiety, could be the comparing yourself to other people. So you feel so less than.
Well, and that was the bigger part about understanding that your part is sufficient. It's necessary in a bigger thing than just yourself. See, that's the point where you realize, hey, I was never intended to do this thing on my own. See, this thing is bigger than me. And the biggest message that you have to learn, and that fear, the biggest fear that we have to overcome is the fear of loss. The fear of loss, and it starts with the fear of loss of ourselves, death, being afraid of death. Death keeps you hostage, makes you hostage to this experience called life. And if we can't understand that we are temporary, we are part of something bigger than ourselves, we're going to be fighting against the time in which we're here, and that is to invest into it, this experience called life. We're here to invest it. It's temporary. And if we don't get it, we're around here running to the end, not knowing that we're missing the purpose of why we're here.
Wow. That's powerful. That's powerful. That's powerful. Because so many people are right now in that fear, paralyzed, in that anxiety, paralyzed, in that depression, paralyzed. And what they don't realize is what you're saying. They're losing precious time to be a part of, we need them. People always say, Dr. Montgomery, I don't know what my purpose is. How do I find my purpose? I don't know why I'm here. And I want you to speak to that. But what I usually say is everyone's purpose is love. It's to figure out how you can give and share love, because you have some special gift within you that's going to give love to so many. Could you speak to that?
You are absolutely 100 positively percent correct. And I don't know if there's ever, how do we get into this place or this space where we do not have a way of understanding our existence? Because that's basically what you're speaking to. You're talking about our existence. And here it is. We all have the very same mission with a little twist, because we have our differences, our abilities, and our skill sets are a little bit different, that we have to implement a little different, but the purpose is the same. And here it is. It's to protect and preserve humanity. That's it. We all have the exact same mission, is to invest in this time, this experience called humanity, so that it might be able to move it along to the next generation. We are just the caretakers of this present time of this thing called humanity. And if we can just understand that, we have something to give to it. We have to invest this experience, this time, into humanity for the next generation. And see, it's very, we see it in the cycle of how we just in children, families. We have parents and children. We birth these children into this world just to preserve and to protect humanity, because that's what that is. It's a legacy, and that's what we're doing. But we don't recognize that that's the essence of what we are participating in. We're participating in this process of preserving and protecting humanity.
Whew, I love it. It's powerful. I was actually just having a conversation yesterday with one of my clients about how intimacy and love is essential for human survival. Because if we stop being intimate and having intercourse, what's going to happen? We're going to become extinct. If we stop, I shouldn't say intimacy and intercourse, I should say procreating.
Absolutely.
That's the proper term.
We need to understand that that's exactly what that is. It's procreating, and not, we know that love and intimacy gets mixed up.
Right. Not just, it's just not sex.
Yeah.
It's not just intimacy.
Yeah,
it's not just love or intercourse. It is procreation. It's for the purpose. Progression or
it has purpose. And the thing about it is, and this is what caused me to write the book, because there's so much confusion around love. We've got it so confused, and nobody's talking. Nobody's telling us, why are we here? These are very fundamental things to our existence, but there's no course for it. There's no class on it. And what I did by putting it in, making my book Love Made Simple, it's not a secret. This thing is not a secret. We've divided it and separated and made it beneficial to us on our own, for our own selfishness. That ain't love. That ain't love. But the fact of the matter is that nobody tells us any different. And we got so many people out here looking for it, running toward, trying to find it, having no idea what it looks like if they ran up on it. That's what caused me to write the book. People who are living so far beneath what they are, who they are. And because they desire and they want it, they run into situations that put them into worse situations than they were in, being alone in many cases, or as a result of someone else's hurts, getting hurt themselves.
Yeah. I want you to speak to this growth in self-reflection, in the attitudes, the mindsets, because I really think that that's where the, if you will, barrier is. People aren't really reflecting.
And this is where, I mean, there's a part of my course and teaching and stuff that I basically talk about, and it's about personal development. And you've got to the first steps to be able to understand love is about acting on behalf of another. That's what the action, that's where the thing that I was failing to understand or to see is that love is the action that we demonstrate on behalf of another. But before we can give that love, that demonstration to someone else, we've got to demonstrate it to ourselves. Because that's the only way we're going to be able to identify it when we're giving it and or when we're receiving it. We've got to know what it looks like. And what that takes is, the first thing is that we've got to look at on the inside. We've got to do some introspection. And that takes some hard, honest reflections. That's where you got to get in there. You've got to know yourself. You've got to accept yourself. You've got to develop yourself before you can give yourself. You gotta go through that process. And in the process of doing that, you're gonna develop these 7 attitudes of love that I refer to. And those are the things that you're gonna go through to recognize that love inside of you. And that is, you've got to be able to first have the attitude of sacrifice. That was the number one thing I learned in the military. Put the uniform on, you know you're asking to be a sacrifice. You've got to be willing to be a sacrifice. The next one we talked about a little bit ago, it was humility. We've got to be able to recognize the fact that we need help, and we've got to humble ourselves and realize that, hey, we're here for one another. They have what I need, I have what they need, and I've got to be willing to say, hey, I need your help. The third one is that I have to be courageous. I have to be courageous because in times I'm going to need to have to stand when it's necessary against the norms. And then it's to care, to be the ability to take a mindset, have the mindset to care about someone else. You've got to be willing. And see, that's where we're going to get back, because that's what's going to cause you to want to act, because of that motivation to care. And then you have to be disciplined. Nobody's going to tell you to do these things. Nobody's going to be able to be walking, looking over your shoulder. You've got to have that initial want and desire to want to love. And then then your next one is that it's responsibility. You got to own it. You've got to own it. And sometimes it might be that you make mistakes. You got to own it. It's okay to make mistakes if you own it. Okay. And then you have tenacity. You just don't give up. That is the thing that takes you over the top. You just don't give up. Love is always the answer. It's only then when we don't position it in the right way, it might appear not to be, but once we put it in the position that gives us the outcome that we're looking for, and that outcome is the betterment and to preserve humanity, we are part of humanity. So we should not be suffering as a result of us loving. At the same time, no one else should either. It's almost a negotiation of win-win. And understand that that's what we're in for. We're in it to win for both, everybody. Not just a few, not just those or select. We're all in this thing to win together.
I think one of the challenges I see is that there's so much hatred. There's so much division. There's a lot of self-hatred, especially around amongst brown and Black people in this country, because that's what's been perpetuated in every lining fabric of our society. And those are, to me, self-love is the hardest thing for a lot of people that I work with to really overcome, because that self-hatred is so ingrained, or hatred towards another is so ingrained.
You hit a couple big issues. When you talk about the fact that we have a problem with being able to love ourselves, and the inability to be able to be receptive to where other people are, or basically divisions. And as it relates to that, it's merely that we have tolerance problems. We have the inability to have tolerance, intolerant. And that right there goes to the point that I have to defend myself, because if I'm tolerant, that means that I'm not right, and I've already determined that I have to be right. So if I give you tolerance, that means that you're going to be different than me. So that means that I can't give you that, because that means that I have to change myself to accept the fact that you're not willing to accept me for being who I am. And that's not what it's about. It's about they're going to receive you, but we got to receive them. But that all stems back to the fact that I don't feel good about myself. And when both sides don't feel good about themselves, that ability to be tolerant is impossible. It's impossible. And that's where we are right now. So you're absolutely right. We need that tolerance, but unfortunately, we can't get there because we got to first do the work on the inside. We've got to do the work on the inside. Now, the reason for the reason that we have to do the work on the inside stems back to this system called love that is indicative to how life works. How life works. We're missing the family. We're missing the family because, see, that family is the gird, that ability for us to allow to build our self-esteem and our self-love and our self-worth. But when we have to do it apart from that foundation or that covering, that support, that's a very tricky road to navigate. And the older you get, the harder it becomes. So that's where we really begin to understand how, when we look at the process of life, this humanity, how it starts, the family is the root, it's the foundation. You build the child's self-esteem, everything comes from that. Now, it's by intention or unintentional that you don't get it. But the fact of the matter is if you miss it, you gotta have it.
And I just want to say this about family. Family doesn't necessarily have to be, to me, the family you were born into. It is the family of those who love and receive you and accept you unconditionally.
And that's the problem that many of us don't understand. But because of the fact that the one you want it to be is your blood, that's the one you want it to be. But if you don't even understand what the value of it is, what the purpose of it, because it's there for a purpose. Okay, and everything has a purpose. Everything. Boy, you just walked up on something now, and I ain't gonna go because I know you ain't got but 30 minutes.
We got 5 more minutes.
Yeah, you just walked up on something when we said that, because see, the other thing that we talked about a little bit ago, and that was death, and not understanding death has a purpose. Death has a purpose. And if we don't understand that, we back to where we were early on in this thing, having the fear of not understanding it. You can't walk in life. You can't walk in this thing when you're fearing something that has a purpose that you don't understand.
So what's the purpose of death?
Death is the purpose that it seals your investment into humanity forever. It seals it. It puts it in place that people are going to know that you were here into forever, into eternity. If we've done it right, we're going to live longer than we could ever be here on earth. When it seals it, nobody can take it, nobody can change it, no one can manipulate it. It allows us to go into eternity for others to to appreciate. We can't do that. We ain't got, but this skin, this body is limited. But the investment goes well beyond this experience.
And to speak to that, if you don't think that your existence, just your existence, your being, nothing that you've ever done or said, just existence has changed another person's life, you're mistaken.
Mistaken and missing it. Missing it. It's one thing to be mistaken. No, you are missing this opportunity. And we wonder, so many of us can ask the question, why am I here? That should be fundamental with every one of us. But you got to understand that this thing is temporary. And when you get to understand that this thing is temporary, you get about your business. You stop living, you stop talking about life is short, trying to extend it. No, you got 2 days and that's all. What you gonna do with it?
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Tell my listeners, where can they find the book and learn about more of what you offer?
Well, right, you can always go to my website, juanleetheauthor.com. You can pick up a copy of the ebook there. Also, you can go Amazon, Barnes & Noble, also get the softback copy book. Also, I'm online. I'm on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Love Made Simple as my handle on Twitter. Also, LinkedIn. You can reach me on LinkedIn, Juan Lee. But it's on Facebook is Juan Lee Author.
What about Instagram?
Facebook Author also.
Okay, Facebook.
But be on the lookout. All of these things that I'm doing, in addition, I'm starting a coaching probably early next year, which will be first in 2022, because everybody they have a separate journey. And what I want to do is be able to support and help them in this journey using love. It's the system for life, okay? And all of the things that I do are under the umbrella of my new nonprofit called Clear Journey. It's where we want to instill these principles and attitudes for success for teenagers and young adults so that they can have a clearer journey in life. It's so that they might be able to not to avoid some of these pitfalls that you and I might have had to have gone through with not having this knowledge. So that's what, so everything that you do, if you support with me, it's all to support Clear Journey. And if you want to be a part of it, you can just info me at juanleetheauthor.com. The website, by the way, is up for Clear Journey. It's clearjourney.org. And we're going to be building that out with more product and services. But that's what we wanted to do. We want to be able to reach people and share with them the practical applications of love.
I love it. I love it. Thank you so much for your time and for your love and for your energy. Any last words of wisdom, any nuggets you want to leave my listeners with?
Look, love is the most difficult thing that you will ever have to do. There's no second to it. But when you put the idea that it's yours, you're going to do it, it's the greatest thing that will ever happen to you, because it will change your attitude in everything. The one little quick thing I have left out, and I know you're right up against time, is that love is 3 characteristics of love. And the one thing, it's first thing, it's a chameleon. It adapts to everything. You can't move it from anything. It really fits into everything. The other one is that it's a conduit. It allows us to connect one to another. It allows for our gifts and talents to flow without any type of agendas at all. And then the last thing, and the one thing that puts love over the top of being its characteristic, is that it's a choice. You can choose to love and nobody can stop you. Nobody can stop you.
I love it. I love it. Thank you so much, Juan Lee. Appreciate you.
You're welcome. I appreciate you having me. Thanks a lot.
Thanks for listening to Master Your Mind with Dr. Erika. We will be back next with another terrific episode that will allow you to master your mind. Please visit hemphappier.com for more information about Dr. Erika and CBD oil. See you next week.